All right. Since I'm live, you guys can hear me. Please let me know. We'll get this started. But 130 of you waiting. Appreciate y'all hanging out with me on your Easter evening. Hopefully, it was a great day filled with whatever you want to do on Easter. But I'm looking forward to the race tonight. Should be a fun one. We do have some weather in the forecast that I was not planning on seeing. So we'll have to see how that goes. I guess there was some rain earlier at the track. I would wonder if they add a competition caution potentially. I don't know if this race is going to end up getting delayed or not. I know exactly where the track is in Richmond, but we can look around. But we got the all good here. Appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Bob did post that it seems like all the apps are everywhere, so it could be like 30 to 70% chance for rain during the race, but it should kind of clear out as the night goes on. So I'm expecting to get a race in tonight, but I am not the weatherman, so do not take what I say as gospel as far as weather is concerned. But looking forward to talking this slate. I think there's many ways we can go. A lot of chalk, and it's kind of hard to get away from the chalk at Richmond because, you know, outside of any crazy issues, the guys that are typically good here are probably going to be good here like we usually see. So I would say some decent chalk on this slate. But let me go top to bottom here. Let me get the out of the way first. As always, from Chris Jenkins. Do appreciate that. He says, I'm leaning to 3 dominator lineups. Do you like finishing position? Do you think finishing position is going to be more important than place differential? I think it's just a matter of finding a good mixture because all these place differential plays, not all of them are going to be able to come through, but there is some good PD on this slate. Like I think Chase Briscoe, Josh Berry, 2 guys that are pretty good at short flat tracks. I like them quite a bit, specifically Chase Briscoe. Michael McDowell, I think, is also a fine PD play, and obviously Christopher Bell. But it's just trying to find that good mix. Like Brad Keselowski is a guy that has some place differential upside, but at the same time, I think he has high finishing position potential. Honestly, would it surprise you if he won the race? I don't really think it would be. So it's all about just finding that good mixture. I don't think you have to specifically go one way, but 2 to 3 dom builds are the way I would be going today. But the thing is, in those 3 dom builds, sometimes you don't have to go like the 3 big dogs. You can get that mid-price driver that has kind of like hybrid upside where they can move up a little bit, finish high, and maybe steal some fast laps along the way. So some of those guys could be like a Bubba Wallace, Chase Elliott, and a Alex Bowman. They're starting up high, and while they're not going to, I don't really think they're going to get out front and dominate. There's potential for it. More so Chase Elliott, I think he could get up front more likely than the other guys, but just kind of like those hybrid plays. Joey Logano's in that category, and I guess Brett Keselowski. What's up, Sean? First one here says, morning CP, happy race day. Thoughts on Larson, Buescher, Keselowski, Elliott, and Logano on FanDuel. Thanks as always for the content. We have Larson up front. I know this is the FanDuel lineup, so we don't really care about the dominator points too much. There's still 400 laps, so it can give you a decent cushion, but it's not going to be as important as it would be over on DraftKings. But I still think it's a very solid build because I love the RFK cars, Buescher and Keselowski. They offer a little bit of place differential upside and high finishing position potential. Same with Joey Logano. The one thing on FanDuel is having the guys start 1-2. It's a bit iffy because they're going to have to pretty much finish up there unless they both dominate. Even then, you're not getting that cushion that you would get over on DraftKings. So I would say it's a good build, but it's a bit risky having 1-2. Honestly, probably feel better if I only had one of those drivers. I think it's unlikely they finish 1-2 at the end of the race. What's up, Johnny T? This is Chris. What's your favorite cash game plays over on FanDuel? Thanks as always. Thank you for being here. I would say my favorite cash game plays on FanDuel. I think Joey's too cheap on both sides, but only $8,000 on FanDuel. Like, finishing position is pretty important over there, so. Sorry, I got a text from my watch off. But finishing position is pretty important over there. So at only $8,000 for Joey, a guy that can honestly at least contend to win this race. I'll take that. I like Brett Keselowski a ton on both sides today. And I would say those are probably like my starting points for cash games over on FanDuel. Dan says, is finishing position crucial for winning GPPs on FanDuel? I feel like I've said finishing position too much. So if you're taking a shot every single time I take it, you're probably dead by now. So I'll try to stop. But yeah, it's obviously very important over there. I mean, you're only getting half the point for place differential, but it all kind of balances out because the dominator points don't really rack up either. So I know the scoring's a bit different, but I usually end up on the same guys as I would on DraftKings. Just the roster construction's a little bit different. Like today, if you are not having any early dominators on DraftKings, I feel like that won't work out too well for you. But over on FanDuel, you can get away with that because you're only getting 0.1 point for lap led. What's up, Mom? Says, hope everyone's having a happy Easter. Hopefully you are as well. Sorry, I can't be there. Good luck, all of you NASCAR fans, and go Joey. I'm with you on Joey this week. Hopefully he does well. What's up, Nick? Let's burn some rubber. Looking forward to the show. Hopefully you're still here. I think that was from a long time ago. Thanks for being here, Nick. D'Angelo says, large field, $100,000 up top. 3 low-owned drivers around the 8K range. Thanks and happy Easter, bud. Right back at you, D'Angelo. 3 low-owned drivers in the 8K range. I think Alex Bowman has some sneaky upside. He's actually pretty good at these tire management tracks. The problem is he's starting 4th, so I mean, it's going to be tough. He's going to have to probably stay within the top 6 and still fast laps along the way. I doubt he gets up front, but that is possible. I got him projected for 35 points, and while the other guys in this price range are projected better, that's going to lead to lower ownership. I have him optimal close to like 15% of the time. So I think Bowman would be in that category. Same with Bubba Wallace. I feel like they're pretty much the same exact place. I would say if you're trying to get a little bit different, you can get 2 cheap drivers there that showed some speed in practice and have the potential to get some dominator points. Because if you're looking at their price range, 7 to 8K range, you have Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, Briscoe, Berry, and those 2 are sandwiched right in between them. So the ownership's just going to have to be lower. Mess something up here. Q2 says, who do you prefer, Bowman or Wallace? It's very tough because I feel like they're the same exact play. I have Bubba Wallace 0.21 points higher than Bowman. So it's honestly a coin flip. I feel like I would lean, even though the projection's like Bubba, I feel like Bowman might be the better tournament play. I think Bubba might come in maybe slightly higher owned, potentially, but they're basically the same play for me. What's up, Mundo? Steven says, Bell or Larson on large field FanDuel GPPs. I would rather have Bell over on FanDuel. Not saying Larson's a bad play on FanDuel. He projects very well for me, and for the price, he looks pretty good pumped otherwise as far as all the studs are concerned. But if the money does not matter, I will take Bell there. Because he has legit top 5 upside, and he's starting nearly in 30th. What's up, Paper? What's up, Clint? Happy Easter, everyone. Happy race day. Hopefully you're feeling better. Briscoe or Berry on FanDuel? I would prefer Briscoe over on FanDuel. Just like him slightly more on both sites, that is. And Dominators on FanDuel, I don't really have, like, it's just a different build. Like on DraftKings, you have your Dominator groups because those points are going to rack up. You have 250 on the slate. You need them. FanDuel, like, you're rostering those Dominator guys because they can finish up top, but I'm not like singling out Dominators for my FanDuel build. If that makes sense. Like, if you wanted to play Christopher Bell, Keselowski, Logano, like those kind of guys in the lineup without having like a guy starting in the front row or anything, like that's totally fine on FanDuel. What's up, 5J? Says, what's up, Chris? Good luck tonight. Playing DK3 Max tournament. Give me 3 potential DOMs, not starting in the top 5. Also, anyone in the sports cards, go check me out on the new. He has new videos soon. Well, you're welcome for the free plug. But 3 potential DOMs, not starting in the top 5. So that excludes Larson, Elliott, Chastain, Bowman, and Wallace. So I think the first one quite easily is Martin Truex Jr. starting in 7th. Then Denny Hamlin starting in 11th. I would say those are 2 very likely dominators tonight. Both amazing at Richmond, both great at managing their tires, good at short flat tracks, and 2 of the favorites to win this race. Those would be the 2 obvious options. Then after that, it gets a little bit close between a few. I would say William Byron has to be next. But I think Brad Keselowski could also be a threat. Does anyone got any prize picks today that they like? Maybe someone does. I unfortunately cannot view the board, so I have not been doing any prize picks content on there, unfortunately. But from past history, I have noticed at these high dominator point tracks that they tend not to put the guys that are most likely to dominate high enough. Like they're just not factoring in enough dominator points. Bowman or Wallace straight up on DraftKings. Man, it's a true coin flip. I know he answered that. But man, that is as close as it gets today. Okay, so my projections for Bowman and Bubba, if anybody else has any more questions for this. I have Bowman at 35.22, an 11.9 projected finish. I gave him pretty much 18 laps led, 12 fast laps, which equates to 10 total dominator points, and he gets 25 points for placement. For Bubba Wallace, I gave him like a 10.8 projected finish and just slightly less laps led. So it likes Bubba. Quarter of a point more, but it is very, very close. What's up, Sam? He says, my lineup for tourneys is Bowman, Haley, Keselowski, Truex. I'm debating if I should go Larson and Berry as my last 2 or Logano and Buescher with my last 2. What do you think? Well, we have Truex, so you have one Dom already. So we're trying to decide if we want Larson and Barry or Logano and Busher. I feel like I would go the Logano route in that one. Like, obviously, Truex can dominate at some point, but I want to lock in some of those early dominator points. I'll go the Larson route. Logano and Busher, I love both of those guys today. But if Larson goes out there and picks butt for stage one and is a threat the entire race, he could easily score over 100 points, which can make up for Logano and Busher, like, each scoring 50, 60 apiece if it came down to it. Assuming Josh Berry doesn't absolutely suck. What's up, DGen Stoner? Brian says, peeled from Florida. I feel it. I was in the sun today. Hopefully I'm not burnt. Daniel says, top 5 drivers to win the race. So my projected finishing order is Kyle Larson number 1, which I'm not in agreement with the books. They have Martin Truex number 1, but it's very close. I have Larson first, Truex second, Hamlin third. There's a little bit of a drop off, but then it's Bell fourth, and then Logano in fifth. That's my top 5 today. But as I always tell people, I don't have guys projected finishing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not how you should do projections. I have Larson at 4.5, Truex at 4.8, Hamlin at 6.1, and Bell's actually at 9.3, but that comes in as 4th. Looking like rain still. So I'm gonna pull up the Richmond, Virginia weather. I don't know if the track's exactly in Richmond. I mean, might be off a little bit, but looking at least, I don't know, whatever. It's like, I guess it's Bing. I somehow set my browser up and it uses Bing, so I gotta fix that. Hate it. But according to that, it says right around 7, 8 p.m. we have a 65% chance of rain. Actually, yeah, at 6:30 we have a 75% chance, and then it drops off around 9 p.m. It's still 50%. So it's really gonna depend on what you're looking at, but it honestly doesn't look amazing. So we'll see. I'm hoping it's not a Monday rain. But obviously we have lights, so we have some wiggle room to work with. Someone said Bob's optimistic the run, but there's rain around the area. I tell you right now, Jeremy, Bob has never seen a radar he doesn't like. There could be a hurricane coming, and he's like, I'm cautiously optimistic about this. I swear he doesn't know how to read a radar sometimes. But if Bob somehow saw this, no disrespect to the GOAT. What's up, Ryan? Says, who are the 3 to 5 dominators to mix and match in your lineups? Who is the 1 to 2 doms to have in every lineup? Last question, who are the cheap plays under 6,500? That will be I mean, the 3 highest dom potential guys I have today, it's going to be Kyle Larson, Truex, Hamlin. I also have Ty Gibbs and Christopher Bell in that range. I mean, there's some other guys that have the potential to dominate, but those are just the guys that I have the 5 highest to be the top dominator today. And the 1, 2, I would build around. I mean, Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin would be my favorites, and then Kyle Larson's like right there with them. I would say that's like the big 3 as far as dominators are concerned today. And the chalk cheap plays 6,400 and below, we are looking at, this is my ownership projections. I think it's going to be Carson Hocevar and Justin Haley. I think those are the ones people get to the most in that price range. Hocevar, I feel like I kind of skipped over the 5K range much because they're all just not the best projection plays in the world. But on a site like this, when you're trying to jam in as many top dogs as you try because they're just projected so well, you have to dip into that range. And the guys that are projecting the best for me are Carson Hocevar. I got him projected to finish right around 23rd, 24th, which equates to 23.2 points. Is that amazing? No, but it does put him optimal over 20% of the time for me. And then Justin Haley pops a ton as well. And I'm not expecting fireworks. I have Justin Haley, but starting dead last in 36. Got him projected for just under 20 points. Okay, that's fine. Like, sure, he's going to go laps down in this race, but it's going to be kind of hard to avoid him because he opens up your salary quite a bit. And he started 33rd at Phoenix, I believe, had an average rank position of 28th. And honestly, he has not been too bad. I know he's in Rick Ware car, but he's been better than the colleague cars so far this year. So Haley and Hocevar are at least in my opinion, what the chalk will be tonight for the cheap plays. Steven says, cheapest driver on FanDuel to finish top 5. Oh boy. I don't think any of the cheap drivers are going to finish top 5 today. But I would say, like, if you have to punt on FanDuel, Briscoe at 72, Barry, McDowell. Those are the cheap plays I would get to on FanDuel. Don't really see a reason to go much lower, to be honest. Larson, Bowman, Truex, my Doms. I can't disagree with that. Kevin says they give a 30% chance we race at best. That's not what I want to hear, Kevin. But yeah, looking at what Bing said, I mean, I never use Bing, but that's what they say. It's not looking great. I know they can run in damp, but if it's raining, I don't expect them to go out there. Michael says, yeah, I just saw that. Maybe Chris is rained out too. You know I'm always late. What's up, Pugsley? Steven says the two doms to boat around in FanDuel GPP. I mean, Truex and Hamlin would be the ones I'd want. I mean, excluding FanDuel, or excluding Christopher Bell. I feel like he's the obvious play on FanDuel, but Truex and Hamlin in tournaments. Getting off that Larson and Bell chalk, which I feel like will be the most popular combo on both sides, because you get the early lap leader and then you get Christopher Bell moving through the field. I feel like that's a pretty easy combination to go with. Although, I mean, you can make the case for, like, I wrote up Christopher Bell for cash because, sure, you can play Kyle Larson, but honestly, if you wanted to play Hamlin or Truex paired with Christopher Bell, I mean, you can't talk you out of that. But I think Bell is the one you'd want to start with. De Palma says rain should be done by 7 p.m. I guess it just depends where you look, really. We'll see. Happy Easter, Michael. What's up, Miss Jewel? Says hi, handsome. Happy Easter and good luck, everyone. Yes. Happy Easter to you all. Hopefully you had a fantastic day. We had a fun day. Chilling at the pool and whatnot. It's been a good day. Josh says, happy holidays. Thoughts for DK Cash. Bell, Larson, Keselowski, Briscoe, McDowell, and Stenhouse. Thank you. I like it all. Stenhouse is a bit of an iffy play there. I guess it's your last piece fit. I feel like if he just survived, you know, I'm not a big fan of Stenhouse today. Rest looks good, though. Berry versus Briscoe. I have Briscoe slightly projected better. We are talking a matter of just a couple of points, but I do like Briscoe a little bit more. I have them projected both to finish 20.44 for Briscoe and 20.46 for Josh Berry. But you get a couple extra PD spots with Briscoe, so I slightly lean him. Ryan says the track is just north of downtown Richmond. The info. How long does it take to drive the track? I think Bob said 60 to 90 minutes earlier. That's what he said. And I believe he tweeted that they didn't want to start past 10 p.m. most likely. Stay hydrated. I need to. My mouth's pretty dry right now. What's up, Lou? Hopefully all is well with you as well. Does Logano and Dillon or Bowman and Gregson single entry GP? I have Larson as my dom. Ooh. Well, I like Joey a little bit more. Since you have Larson, I'm not sure if I want to roll with Bowman as well. I'll go with Logano and Dillon. I mean, probably Dillon's gross, but I think I'll go with that. Chris says Cash, Larson, Keselowski, Briscoe, Hocevar, and Priest. Last guy in, Hamlin or Bell. I would roll with Bell in there. Just give you a little bit more of a floor with Kyle Larson since he's already up front. Priest a little iffy in Cash, though. What's up, Michael? I'm late to the party. Chris is a bad influence. Sorry. Don't worry. No one ever has to apologize if you're late, because I'm always late. Austin says, still liking Austin Dillon as a sneaky play. Yeah, my first one in projections didn't like him. I made a little bit of a tweak just based off of him having some decent track records at the high tire wear tracks. So I think Austin Dillon's a decent play. I got him projected for 26.8. That's just shy of 4x value. Him and Eric Jones pretty much project the same for me. Jones looks like a better value slightly, but yeah, I'm fine with Austin Dillon in the 6K range. And I believe it was the 6K range that I just don't like really much at all. Oh no, Michael McDowell was just out of there. So yeah, it's pretty much just Austin Dillon, Eric Jones for me. And if you want to get a little bit funky, Ryan Priest, they all pretty much project the same. But yeah, I do like AD. I don't think the ownership will be too crazy on him. I think Eric Jones will probably get most of it there. What now says better finish, Busch or Bell? Does Busch take revenge? If I knew guys were going to take revenge, I wish I would. But I do not like Kyle Busch today. If he burns me, he burns me. I just don't really see anything to warrant wanting to play much Kyle Busch today. He's almost $10,000. And RCR just tends not to be amazing at short flat tracks, which I know Austin Dillon I kind of like, but it's mainly just a price thing. If Kyle Busch was 6K, sure, I'd play him. But starting in 15th at nearly $10,000, I just don't see him getting up front and dominating. What he's going to have to do with that price. I'm pretty much out on Kyle Busch here. He projects quite poorly for me. Haley or Hocevar for sub 6K. I mean, if straight up, I'll take Hocevar. Prices and you win the $50 today. Hopefully you do. What up, spread? What's up, Chris? Other Chris. Chase or the one, the only Todd, the lightning rod Gillen. First time I ever heard that. I mean, if I get the pick, I'm taking Chase any day. Sure. AJ says, thoughts on Larson, Logano, Bell, Keselowski, Haley, and Nemechek. I love Larson, Logano, Bell, Keselowski, Haley. So, yeah, I mean, it's good. I mean, Nemechek, it's like your if play, but everyone has to have an in play sometimes. So, yeah, I'd roll with that. Greg A says, the best bet hair is back. Sure am. Sure am. Double dipping again went pretty decent last Sunday, hoping for success on both FanDuel and DraftKings 20 maxes. Yeah, hopefully you have a great week. Last week was awesome. We hit the Byron. So we had bets on Byron and Bell, both at plus 1,200. So the last lap wasn't much of a sweat because it's like, well, one of these guys is winning. So that was nice. And then fantasy went pretty well too. Yeah, hopefully we can have another good week. What's up, Neil? Says, drivers under 7K. Happy Easter. Happy Easter to you too, Neil. So the guys I like under 7K, give a handful. Well, Michael McDowell is exactly at 7K, so we'll throw him in there. But then Austin Dillon, Eric Jones, Hocevar, Justin Haley. Those are some of the guys that are popping the most for me. What's up, Sarugi? 3 FanDuel core plays. Hope you had a happy Easter. Hopefully you did as well. Love Christopher Bell on FanDuel. Hard to get away from him. Also really like Brad Keselowski, Chris Buescher, Joey Logano. Getting to those guys on FanDuel. I went Bell, Larson, Brad, Bowman, Gregson, Haley. Should I swap Gregson for McDowell? I personally would roll with McDowell there. I think both guys have similar upside, but you're starting several spots further back with Michael McDowell. And he was one of the best cars in this group for practice. I'm not trying to take too much away from practice because, I mean, obviously Group A smashed. And you have to sort it by groups, but if you're looking at the overall lap averages, I mean, Michael McDowell kind of cleaned up in Group 2. So I know he's not typically good at short flat tracks at all, but seems like they've been getting better this year. They've been qualifying better, so starting at 31st is a little bit different. But I do like McDowell quite a bit today at that price point. Anyone to the rear? Not that I know of as of right now. Obviously, if someone goes to the rear, let me know. But usually, if it's not like a guy starting up front that's a big name, I typically don't care. Is Chris Bell a lock for optimal? No one's a lock for optimal, I promise you that. But obviously, he's the best projection play for me today. I will have quite a bit of. Jalen says rank Bell because, like, why he's not a lock? Because sure, he can finish 5th, but let's say for example, Truex comes out, leads 200 laps, finishes 2nd. Hamlin comes out, leads 150 laps, finishes 1st. Those guys are going to outscore Christopher Bell. So he's not a lock, but obviously a great play. I got Easter drunk. I don't think so, Race. Although add some gambling on top of it, maybe. Tough to never rank Denny 1, Bell, MTJ. It's pretty much hard to get away from those big 3 today. Hamlin or Truex in cash? I believe I have Truex slightly higher. It's another one of those things where you're asking good questions because it's that close. I have Truex at 70.9 points today, and I have Hamlin at 70.84. I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with either. So I guess I would lean Truex right there. He was also a little bit better in his group in practice, but I think they're going to be some of the top dogs today for sure. Thoughts on Chris Buescher? 11,000. I like him. I like RFK quite a bit. And Buescher was strong in his group for practice. I'll take too much of it. He was in Group A, so the numbers are quite inflated, but he was still 3rd in the 20 lap, 3rd in the 25, 3rd in the 30, and that still ranks out pretty well with him and his group. So if we rank these guys by 25 lap runs for his group, he's only behind Bowman and Blaney. I'm not sure how much I trust Blaney here at Richmond. Just tends to not do that well. He's gotten better, but one race was on the pole and kind of inflated his numbers a bit. Third and long says, is Richmond a high total score race? New DFS have the top score around 400 points, about 50 over the average total score. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of dominant points, though. yeah, get spread around. So you're going to see the point totals at the end be pretty high. Roshan says Bell, Keselowski, Gibbs. I haven't seen much people talk about Gibbs, so maybe he's going to be lower owned than I think, which means other guys are higher owned than I think. But anyway, Bell, Keselowski, Gibbs, Haley, Logano, and McDowell. It's a great lineup. I mean, you have Christopher Bell coming to the field. You have Ty Gibbs as a potential dominator. Brad Keselowski can also come to the field. The only issue is you don't have a guy starting in like the top 5 or top 8 that potentially dominate early on. So you're going to need those guys to kind of trade around, lap sled, and not one guy to run away with it. And then those guys come to the field, and then obviously you're going to need one up front at some point. But where's Ty Gibbs starting? Oh, he's starting in 8. All right, disregard. I was thinking he's starting at 12%. But that would be Ryan Blaney. I got those two confused. So I think that's definitely a really solid build there. But you are going to need the guys up front to kind of trade around and not one to run away with it. Which is possible. I am curious if we will get a competition caution or not. Because that could make life a little bit harder for guys like Kyle Larson and just really anybody up front. I'm going to pull up Bob's Twitter, see if I missed anything. So he just posted 26 minutes ago. Track drawing continues. Looks like sell to the west might or might not. Flip the track. Looking at the radar. It's looking iffy. It's looking iffy. And also some possible lightning to the far west. Still TBT if start on time. Nothing about a competition caution yet. I mean, typically we see that at what, like lap 25, lap 30. And if there's a competition caution, I'm not saying you have to fire the alarm bells on Kyle Larson. It just makes it a little bit tougher for him not to run away with it. Doesn't it mean something could happen on the road? He's got the first pit stall though, and he's got obviously a great team. I'm not overly concerned about it, but it makes things a little bit tougher. And I would say it probably helps the guys in the back to get bunched back up so they don't go a lap down early. Top 4 finish. Thanks for the stream. I probably already answered that, but I don't know how far along I am. But top 4 for me: Larson, Truex, Hamlin, and Bell. As far as projected finish is concerned, best long shot bet for the day. So I didn't mention any of the bets in my preview video because I didn't have any. I usually have some early in the week bets, but I saw no value whatsoever, so I'm not going to force anything. After practice and qualifying, Denny Hamlin opened up at plus 800 on DraftKings this morning, so I was able to get that in. And then I hit Byron top 10 at minus 120. So those are the only bets I have. For a long shot, I mean, I'd be lying if I said I liked any. The only one that shows slight value is Chase Elliott. I believe Sean in my Discord said he got him at plus 2250. So I don't hate that because I show value at 1940. And it sounds weird saying Chase Elliott's a long shot, especially when he's starting second, but the odds honestly are pretty good. So it's about as deep as I would get personally. But I don't think we're going to see a crazy winner today. James says, favorite GPP play under $6,900 on DraftKings. Projection wise, I have Austin Dillon the highest, and I don't think his ownership is going to be crazy. Honestly, some decent numbers at Richmond, and he's pretty good at the tire wear tracks. So I would say Austin Dillon. Chase says, if Bell finishes, say, top 7, is he worth it over a Denny or Truex with down potential? It all comes down to how much do they lead. So if we look at my heat map here, I guess if I look at it, you guys can't see it. If Christopher Bell finished 7th in this race, not factoring in any dominator points whatsoever, that's 59 points. I would say it's very unlikely Christopher Bell does not pick up any dominator points at all. If Hamlin or Truex need to get 59 points, they need to either win the race or pick up dominator points, which I think is very possible. But I have them pretty much all projected about the same. I got Bell at 72, Truex at 70, and then Denny Hamlin at 70 as well. It all comes down to just how much they lead. Because in the scenario where they both led like half the race or even a third of the race, decent chance they could outscore Christopher Bell. So you have to build for that. I like pairing the two together though, like 5 Truex, getting Christopher Bell in with Truex, 5 Denny Hamlin, pair him with Christopher Bell. I just think it kind of offsets well. Brad and Logano or Reddick and Logano. I'll take Brad and Logano. I'm not a big fan of Reddick at the short tracks too much. I do like him at Phoenix usually, but other than that, I'm not a fan of Tyler Reddick here. Favorite cash play with 7,100 left. I will take Michael McDowell there. I like him quite a bit today. Favorite to win the race regardless of the odds. I mean, I have Kyle Larson number 1 for me. It's very close between the top 3, but Larson's starting at the pole, best pit stall. He's 1 year before. Good at managing his tires. But I did not bet him. Window says, what kind of roster construction are you going with? Balanced or stars and scrubs? I think the majority of my builds would probably be pretty stars and scrubsy because the guys that project the best are extremely expensive. So to fit those guys in, you need to fit in the scrubs. And looking at my optimal scores and things like that, you're going to see Justin Haley popping quite a bit, Daniel Hemrick, even Kaz Grala, Ty Dillon. They pop just because they need the expensive guys. So it's all right to mix in one of those guys in your lineup. Now, you can build balanced builds, but you really need the favorites to die. Possible. Ray says Larson's 80% for me, Bowman's 60%, Dillon's 60%, Briscoe 60%. I don't know. Pretty heavy on Nemechek, but I do wish you the best. I mean, I can't hate on any of the other drivers. A lot of Bowman, but I mean, I definitely don't hate the Bowman play. Look very strong in practice for his group. Starting in 4th, good track position. He's in a good spot to steal fast laps and hang within the top 8 majority of the day. And at these tire wear tracks, Bowman tends to shine. Because I always say this because I just remember his wins, and they're all at like high tire wear tracks. He won at Richmond before, his Chicagoland Auto Club. Is he one at Dover? I know he runs well at Dover. There's some tire wear there too. What's up, Charles? Is Bell an absolute lock today? No, he is not an absolute lock. Is he the best projection play on the slate for me? Yes, that does not mean he's a lock. Because if any of these guys up front just absolutely dominate the heck out of this race, at his price range, there will be a better play. But you can easily pair bet with one of them is the nice thing. Got done from Race Fan. I'm sorry. Again, it's for some reasons these don't pop up sometimes. I don't know why. I'm sorry about that. This top 3 plays DraftKings regardless of price. Thank you. Well, I mean, projection-wise, it's Bell, Truex, Hamlin, but value-wise for me, Larson, Keselowski, Logano, pop a lot, excluding some of the other guys. Pop. And appreciate the donut. Says he's in Maine, and we are getting slammed with a big snowstorm early April. I'm not happy about it. I wouldn't be either. That sucks. Bodie says, only time was the Clash. Even Bob knew we weren't getting that in. Yeah, that was fun. We moved that one up a whole day. Caught us all by surprise. Sean says, the Joy, Bell, Logano, Chastain, Bowman, Brad, Keselowski thoughts. I'm not the biggest on the Joy today, but assuming that's just your straggler at the end. I love Bell, Logano. Chastain and Bowman together is a bit iffy for me. But I understand the roster construction because you don't have Larson. So in that scenario, I get it. You're assuming something happens to Larson there. Windows says, last one in, Jones or Austin Dillon. I have Jones Austin Dillon 0.4 points higher. So, very close. Austin Chris Bell, love Bell today. I think Bell can make it to the front. I think at some point it will be a contender. Probably take till late stage 2, stage 3, depending on how cautions roll out. Hopefully he doesn't get stuck in the back. That would not be pleasing to me. But yeah, I like Bell a lot. Keselowski or find a way to pay up for Buescher on DraftKings. I wouldn't force my lineup to if I have to make some uncomfortable decisions just to get Chris Buescher in. I have Keselowski projected higher than Buescher anyway. I would say BK. McDowell's a good play on DraftKings. Starting in 31st, he's cheap, showed speed. I like him. Hoping they race. Hoping. Nemechek's your sleeper pick. I'm just having a hard time getting there too much. Personally, I'm not going to talk anybody off, but I'm having a really hard time getting the Nemechek. Austin Dillon's your sleeper pick of the day. And by the way, Bubba Pollard deserves a cup ride. Been following for years now. He's so good. The Xfinity race I liked a lot. Able to get first one of the single entry. But it was kind of boring because not much happened, but that's what we like. We like boring races. Those tend to be more projectable. Michael says, Bell, Reddick, Gibbs, Logano, and Haley. Thoughts or concerns? My only concerns would be Reddick. I'm not huge on Reddick today. Like, he's not the worst play in the world. I got him projected for 38.5, but I feel like you can do a little bit better. 4.4x value. What's up, Michael? Happy Easter. Hopefully you're having a great one. Sitting at Duffy's with the laptop, about to run some lineups. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. Happy Easter to you as well, Donk Jr. Truex, Bell, Keselowski, Haley, Logano, 6,311. Thoughts on the last one? First guy that pops for me is Hocevar. Don't already have him, right? Yeah, I would say Hocevar in that build. Don says the man here is doing this to make money, and hitting the like button is no skin off your nose. Hit the like button. Help me. Appreciate that, Sean. What about Hamlin? I mean, sign me up for Hamlin. Yeah, but on him to win a plus 800, so I'm definitely on the Denny train. I don't want to. That's like a cop out answer, but him and Hamlin, Truex, and Bell are like all the same protection play for me today. Hard to distinguish him much from Martin Truex Jr. They look next to me. B Hockey says max number of guys starting outside the top 25 you'd play in a lineup. The absolute max would be 5 because you're going to need at least one guy starting at the front getting dominant points. I'd say a max of 5. Like in that scenario, you'd have Kyle Larson and just a bunch of PD plays coming through, but probably more so like 4. That's the max. Please don't make every lineup have 4 guys outside the top 20. Don't do that today. How many DOMs today? How would you set for PD group? I would not have a PD group personally, just a DOM group, and I would set all the DOMs to at least 2. And it's pretty much the guys you'd expect. I would say Larson, Elliott. You can throw Bowman and Chastain in there. They're more secondary dominators. But then Truex, Ty Gibbs, Hamlin, Byron, Buster, I guess. Guys you want to throw in the DOM group. I wouldn't include Christopher Bell in the DOM group today. But obviously, if he fits in with those DOMs, that's fine. I mean, you can throw Bell in the DOM group. Thing is, though, if you do, you might get like a Bell and like a Bell and maybe Chris Buescher build, which like it's fine, I guess. You could probably throw Bell in the DOM group. I just didn't want to get stuck with like nobody starting in the top 10. We've seen Richmond races where these guys, I mean, they can get up front starting mid-pack and dominate. I mean, I guess you could. Not the end of the world. And he says, Truex, Logano, Gibbs, Wallace, Nemechek, Cindric is what my DraftKings is. It's definitely going to be different. I'm not on Cindric today. Starting a bit high for me, but I do wish you the best on it. You'll probably be like the only one with them. I can't imagine people are playing Cindric today with you. Rob Dar says, hey, Chris, what are your outright bets tonight? Just one for me. It's Hamlin at plus 800. That's all I got. So, I mean, I'm not expecting it to win, but I like the odds we got because they did drop after I bet it, I believe. I think the best you can get. So Hamlin on DraftKings now is plus 650. So obviously I like the line movement there. I just didn't really think there was a great reason for Bell to have better odds than Hamlin when they first dropped. And I see Larson is now plus 400, so I'm actually really wishing I would have took the plus 600. Well, definitely do not bet Larson on draft. If you want to bet Larson, do not bet him on draft. The number sucks. 525 on Hard Rock. I haven't looked at the other one. Imagine doing 400 on Larson tonight. Someone says, I got here late. Madden Sims went over. I fear I have you're playing Madden Sims. You're crazy. I fear I have too much Truex and I have one lineup. So you must have just Truex in your one lineup. I mean, he's one of the guys you can feel pretty good with. Great at tire management, good at short flats. He was fast at Phoenix and great at Richmond. Barrett Hamlin or Bell and Briscoe for DraftKings. Already have Truex in the lineup. I will take the Bell and Briscoe side then, because since we already have Truex, we have our early Dom, and I think Bell kind of mixed well with Truex there. 7K left on FanDuel, best play. Either Barry or McDowell for me. They're both within a point. What's Truex's stats, Chris? Are we asking just specifically for Richmond? If it's Richmond in the next gen era, he's got 3 top 10s, 1 top 5. And I believe the second or third most laps led per race. Smaller sample size. we went even deeper, the numbers get better. But in the next gen short flat tracks, actually, Martin Truex Jr. does have the most dominant points of all drivers. Ross or Bowman? I'd prefer Bowman. Ray says, like the video? Helps me. Appreciate it. Michael says, Bell, Truex, Hamlin, Larson, Byron, Gibbs, Elliott, Chastain. Any more, any less in a Dom group? I don't think you're missing anybody. That looks good. I mean, might be able to put Buescher in there, but I don't think he has to make the Dom group. And then if you want to throw Bell in too, there you go. Sorry. Can you do more than 2 Domers in a lineup? Absolutely. Quite easy, actually. Because you could build Kyle Larson with Alex Bowman if you wanted, for example, and then you could have Martin Truex Jr. in there. I mean, you can definitely fit that in the lineup. Okay. What's up, Daniels? Happy Easter. Happy Easter to you as well. Do you think 3 10K plus guys are viable with double sub 5.5K punts, Hamlin, Bell, Larson? It's viable, yes. It just doesn't feel as good. But if you nail the Doms, like say Hamlin leads 100 laps, Larson leads 125, Bell finishes 4th and he gets fast laps. I could see that being optimal. Depends what the other guys do around there, though, but those builds are fine. How viable are Gralla and Hemrick? So they actually popped up a little bit more than I was expecting. Like, I could see Ty Dillon being in play 5 to 10% of the time. I could see Kaz Gralla being the same way. It's mainly because they don't project well. Like, I have Gralla at 15 points. I have Hemrick at 15.7. Like, they're not great projection plays, but it allows you to fit in those studs. Sorry if I sound weird. I just realized I cannot breathe through my nose at all. What's up, Mom? It's Happy Easter, Chris. Oh, you're not talking. Oh, it's my Aunt Teresa. Hello, Aunt Teresa. Thank you for watching. So now my mom would not call me Chris, only Christopher, so it threw me off. Appreciate the dono spread. So I was thinking about putting my faith in Bowman, an Easter miracle. Hey, he paid off really well for us last week, so he's in our good graces at least for 1 week. But I do appreciate the dono spreader. And if you play, but I mean he is cheap and he has dominant upside, which is all you can really ask for at Richmond. And if you're good at managing your tires, which Bowman is typical. Where do your projections show Haley? Do you like him? I have him right around a 30th place finish, right around there. Not expecting fireworks out of just in there. But if he battles for a top 30, I think he's better than the other cars back there with him. So you can be able to get a couple free spots. If he just survives the race, he'll pick off guys that either DNF or anybody that has issues. I have him right around 19, 20 points, but that's enough. That's all you need. And there's upside for more. Truex, Logano, Nemechek, Gibbs, Wallace, and Cindric. What do you think? That one. Joey or Bowman? For Joey a little bit more. Bell. Also, I have not built my lineup, so I need to make sure I don't go too long. Still got to build. Sorry. Bell, Austin Dillon, Haley, Keselowski, Larson, Logano, DraftKings Cash. Yeah, I could roll with that. I think Keselowski, Larson, Bell are really good starting points for cash. I like Justin Haley as the punt. Austin Dillon's kind of that last man in, but I think he's a decent play. Then Joey's too cheap, so I think it's a good cash build. I think that is actually close to my optimal, although I feel like Michael McDowell's in there somewhere. Maybe over Austin Dillon. I think that lineup actually would fit for cash. So Jody, Bell, Hamlin, Keselowski, Buescher, Haley, and Hemrick. Yeah. I mean, you got just 2 punts in the bag, but if they survive the race, you have Hamlin who can dominate, Buescher, Keselowski, and Bell. So that's solid. I've been trying to. I preferred only to have one of those guys back there, but the overall build's pretty solid. Bentayga, Keselowski, Bell, Larson, Jones, Elliott on FanDuel. How's it sound? It sounds good. I'm not sure if I love having 1-2 on FanDuel too much. Got to refresh my mind on Elliott's price. He's only $8,500, so it doesn't make it as bad. Yeah, I mean, with them starting 1-2 though, you really need them to both finish pretty much top 3, which I'm not sure if Chase is going to have that in him based off of what we've seen so far this year. If we remember Phoenix, I know the finish was not good, but they kind of got screwed on that the field flipped at some point. Bell and Blaney were able to move through the field, but everybody else pretty much got stuck. But before that field flip, Elliott was pretty much running like what, P3 to P5 the majority of the day, if I remember. And if he can do that today at his price on either site, get fast laps, which you can't get on FanDuel, but if he gets a top 5 finish, yeah, it can work out. But his path's a little bit tougher than others. TG says, do you have a package for NASCAR and MLB combined price of the free stuff, bro? Appreciate that. And yes, I do. Now, it's not going to say NASCAR and MLB, but it's going to be all sports. It's just like $5 more than you would. So I try to make it worth it. So if you ever want to check that out, you can. I do baseball every day, mainly just main slates, and then NASCAR every week. So if you ever want to check that out, you can. But no pressure. Large field, DraftKings GVP, Truex, Byron, Logano, Keselowski, Nemechek, and Haley. I don't mind that Byron play for a large field. I'm not sure he's going to get much ownership at all. I think he comes in the teens. Could be lower 10s. It's just hard to get to him because in that price range, you have Larson on the pole. You have just the big dogs of Toyota, Hamlin, Bell, Truex, who everyone's going to want to play today. So someone's got to get left out, and I think it's going to be Byron. So for a large field, I don't mind that. He's been good at Richmond before, led some laps here. I think it was the fall race or the spring race last year. He led like 120 laps and ended up getting spin, finished in the 20s, got screwed over. So his overall numbers could look better. I had him that race and it sucked. He was crushing it. Thoughts on Zane Smith? I'm not getting there, I don't think. I don't have him projected very well. And I just prefer some of the other cheaper guys anyway. Looking like a 10 p.m. start? Potentially. Bob tweet anything else? Almost looking like it's not going to start on time. All right, we do have a new tweet from Bob. After pre-race checks, no cars to the rear, so that's good news. It is raining, and they stopped drying the track. Well, hey, right now, it doesn't sound good for an on-time start. Now, FanDuel usually does not push back lock times unless it's like a postponed race well ahead of time. If it's just delayed, they're not going to push that back. DraftKings tends to push it back, so you might have some more leeway over there. So not looking great for an on-time start. I don't know how hard it's raining or anything, but not looking amazing. Matt says, haven't heard anyone mention Ross at all. I've gotten a couple questions, but yeah, no one's really talking about Ross. I think everyone's scared of the practice speeds, but then when you back it up with the P3 in practice, it's like, oh, I really care about the practice speeds too much this week. I don't really. Problem is, he's just a tough spot because if you're looking in the AK range, I like Joey more, I like Brad and Elliott, Busher. So it's just tough to get the Chastain and Reddick in there, personally. But he will be very low owned. And I have him optimal right around. Where's he at? Right around like 10 to 12% of the time. So not like a fantastic play, but it's not like he's showing zeros. 8,700 racer. Like 8,700 and below, I'll take Joey. Or no, I'll take Keselowski, then I take Joey. Majority of the guys that are good at Bristol are good at Richmond. Hamlin, good at Bristol, good at Richmond. Joey's usually good at Bristol. Pretty bad this year overall, but he's good at Richmond. Larson, good at Bristol, not as good at Richmond, but obviously he looks good today. Bell, good at Bristol. For some guys, for sure. Timothy Lee says, 2 questions that might be repeated. Cash plays outside of Larson and your favorite stance today? Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I've already answered this, but if I am playing cash today, outside of Larson, I'd want Christopher Bell. I'd want Brad Keselowski. And then if you're looking for a punt, I think Justin Haley makes sense down low. And then favorite stance today, I like Joey. I know it's been a bit of a rough year. He was good last week, at least. But I do like Joey there in tournaments. And I like Chris Buescher as well. Definitely 2 guys I'm going to be trying overweight on the field on. Chris, get some SPF on that nose, bro. I put sunscreen on, man. The Florida sun didn't agree with it though. Steven says McDowell or Briscoe straight up on FanDuel. I have Briscoe just a little bit higher. You need one. Larson, McDowell, Briscoe. I mean, those guys. I'm taking Larson any day. That's the question. Who would you pick between Wallace or Bowman? Thank you. I have Bubba projected for 0.2 points higher, but I feel like I like Bowman better. Very tough. Very tough. I do have Bubba slightly more optimal than Bowman. It's just because he's a little bit cheaper. But my heart wants to say Bowman. I just have a tough time trusting Bubba any week. Not that Bowman's the most consistent guy in the world. Are we in the Gilly gang this week? I am not personally. Starting in 6, I just don't see how it works out. Have you really, Sean? Well, that's definitely impressive. I'll give you that. Bowman, Briscoe, McDowell. Okay, that makes more sense. Between those guys, I have Briscoe the highest. You know me there is Sean Peasy. Yeah, I've never done Madden. I think I did Madden Sims like once maybe or twice. I don't think I've ever did it again though. I said Larson top Chevy, Buescher top Ford, and Bell top Toyota plus 4,000. Oh, like all together? I was like, where'd you get Bell top Toyota plus 4,000? Okay. Well, I wish you the best on it. I don't know what I'd have for the fair odds on that, but I wish you the best. Brett says Barry and Bowman or Logano and McDowell and DraftKings. I will go with the second option there. Is there anything wrong with 4 DOMs? I mean, as long as it's, I'm assuming it's like kind of like secondary DOMs. I guess there's nothing wrong with that. Because Joey Logano and Keselowski, I mean, they could count as like secondary DOMs today, and they're cheap. And you can pair them easily with 10K guys and up, so fine with that. Logano or Keselowski to finish the lineup. I slightly prefer Keselowski. No left for Blaney today. Thoughts on the 12 and 54's DOMs. I'm high on them over the 1911. No, I don't really like Blaney today. I don't really see much of a reason to like them over those guys. He just doesn't typically get it done at Richmond. And I know his practice numbers were good, but he was in Group 1, so these are highly inflated. I'll take my chances with the guys in the other way around Richmond pretty well. But I don't mind Ty Gibbs, but I'm not big on Blaney today, which I know I love Blaney typically, but I'm hoping he doesn't do great today. You needed Pollard top 5 yesterday for plus 500. 2 more laps would have been good. Yeah, he was cooking through the field. I mean, those guys that had some fresh rubber would definitely be able to move up. Who were like in the 6K range? I like Eric Jones. I like Austin Dillon. Pretty much it. I mean, Ryan Preece is right there with him, but I preferred the other two. Daniel says, is Chastity more valuable or important with Dom upside as a third dominator, or Keselowski with PD? A lot of my lines have 3 Doms. Haley types. I like Keselowski more than those guys because I think at some point he could be a potential dominator as well, and he's already starting 20 spots further back. And if it came down to Bowman or Chastain, I slightly prefer Bowman for the salary, like point per dollar wise. Because he needs to get one of these Indian shirts. Yeah, this is my favorite Indian shirt. Very nice. Like it. Last time I looked, though, they were losing to Oakland. But opening day was. Kevin likes Blaney today. Grala, Burton, or Hemrick. Did you throw up when you asked that? I would say probably. Doesn't sound great to say, but I have Hemrick highest there. Make your lineup as old as you can. Yes, the old men know how to save their equipment. Brad Keselowski, Hocevar, or Buescher and Haley on DraftKings. I'll take the first one there. Must start Elliott. He is due. At this point, I don't think we can ever call Chase Elliott a must start at this point. But I do think he is viable as a potential dominator today. He's on the front row. He's pretty cheap. And if he can pull a Phoenix, just not get the field flipped on him, he ran well until that. Just couldn't move after that. But I can't say a must start. You just can't do it with Chase at this point. Who's your favorite between Briscoe, Barry, or McDowell? I mean, those 3 are like the same exact play. We've got a lot of people ask that. My ranking on it is Briscoe, McDowell, Barry. Man, they are all very close. Bell, Keselowski, Busher, Logano, McDowell, FanDuel. Thoughts? I think it's a good fan. All those guys have, I mean, not really McDowell, but they have pretty high finishing position potential and they offer some PD. So I mess with it. Raider Jeff says, FanDuel, Larson, Truex, Keselowski, Logano, and Barry. Should I be worried that I have Bell even if I like this lineup? Thanks for the great work. No. I mean, sure, Bell projects the best on FanDuel, but it's so close within points where you don't absolutely have to play him. Because let's just say it's a horrible scenario and he gets stuck a lap down because he just came in through the field. You're going to have major leverage. Bonze says, when you find out your NASCAR guy does MLB also? Yes, no, I don't do videos for it on YouTube because I mean, who wants to watch an MLB DFS video? I'm sure you do, but I don't want to make one every day personally. But I do the projections and all that stuff every day. So, I mean, I keep up with it. But no video content, unfortunately. Used to back in the day, but it doesn't seem worth it. 8,700 left, last pick. For me, that'll be Keselowski. His vacation starts tomorrow. My son is coming over, and we're going to go fishing. Well, hopefully you have an awesome time shot. Hopefully it's great. And good weather as well. What's up, Devin? Says, I'm late to the party. I'm always late to my own party anyway, so don't worry. And how do you feel about Hamlin? No issues with Hamlin today. He's part of the big 3/4 for the most part. No issues with Hamlin. It's all right. I'm late too. Can you go over your cash game plays? Larson, Bell, Keselowski. If you're looking for cheap plays, Justin Haley or Hocevar, I think makes sense. McDowell's fine. Briscoe. Some of the guys I would try to get to in cash. Give you a couple up top, in the middle, and down low. Why don't y'all like Kyle Busch? I like Kyle Busch at certain other places, but I'm just not a big fan this week. Starts in 15th. I mean, I just don't really see Dominator. I'm down on our side. If like I'm going to play him, I'd play him over on FanDuel. On DraftKings, I just don't really see the need to get there. He just hasn't. I don't really think he has any downer upside today. T-Mitch says, sorry I'm late. Happy Easter, NASCAR fam. DK Cash, Bell. What's up, T-Mitch? Cash, Bell, Larson, Elliott, Barry, McDowell, Haley. I would not personally play Elliott in Cash. He's definitely a tournament play only for me. But the rest are viable for Cash. Best punts are going to be Haley and Hocevar for me below 5K. Devin says he thinks Barry looks good. I agree. I think he's a good short track racer. Starting in 30th, he should be able to move up at the very least. No problem, Sarugi. Thank you for being here, too. Bowman or Logano, both fit. Main build. I will go with Joey. Get a little bit more PD in there. Also excellent at Richmond. Looks like they're still working on the track. Fox is saying they're on schedule to start on time. We'll see about that. 7:15, I think, is when green flag's supposed to drop. Something like that. No update yet from Bob. See. I mean, based off the radar he posted half an hour ago, I mean, it just looks like that line is going through the track for a while. Like just clipping it. No changes to the starting position, son. Best under 6,800 bucks. I guess I'd be Eric Jones because I believe Austin Dillon's 68. The old man can drive, man. They sure can. Sure can. Denny can drive, Truex. They know what's up. Tim says, sorry, late to the party. But thanks for the tip on what to tell my barber. I got a mid drop down fade with a textured top. It's fresh. Thanks for that's what I'm here for, to give haircut advice. Screw the NASCAR stuff. But I'm glad to hear that. Hopefully you're looking great. How to get a fresh cut for Easter, of course. But nice to see you as well, Tim. Devin says MLB is awesome. It's a lot of work. It sure is. It sure is. But I enjoy it. Lots of numbers in baseball, and it's just fun to see how it all plays out to whatever. I was sweating one lineup. I don't know what the score at the Rangers game is though now. Had a Reds and Rangers stack. And that is a hockey. That's not giving me what I want. I hate Bing. Well, if that's the day, it's 9 to 5, and when I stopped looking, it was 5. They have. Oh, that was the Cubs. Okay, well, that's probably not what I would have done. Thinking the Rangers had 9. You know. What's up, Norman? Good night for racing. Hopefully. Hopefully. It looks like it's raining though. Larson the pole, go Larson. Yeah, I'll definitely have my fair share of Larson tonight. Will says on the side note, live bet the under on the Duke NC State game. My March Madness bracket is. I don't know anything about college basketball, but my bracket is. It is so bad. Guess is gonna be good. Hope so. And Haley, I'm with you. Keselowski or Busch trip on FanDuel. I'll take Keselowski. Big Bear is asking the important questions here. Are you ready for the return of Rebirth Island? And I sure am. I cannot wait. What is it, April 3rd or April 4th? But yeah, it's definitely my favorite Resurgence map, so I am very, very excited for that. We just need Verdansk back, and we're back to the OG days. He says, who do you like as potential lap leader between 11 and 20? Usually someone gets off strategy, and we'll get some. Yeah, I think Chris Buescher. I like quite a bit in 11-20 range. Just by qualifying here. I mean, Hamlin in the 11-20 range. Buescher. Byron, obviously, but I'd say those are the most likely guys. Guardians are now tied 3-3. All right. Coming back a little bit. Hopefully I can get the dub. Yeah, I would. Yeah, Cass is the cash game play for Cersei Mitch. I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if Keselowski was like the highest owned guy in the slate today, honestly. He's just too cheap. He should be. I don't really see why he's not where Chris Buescher is. It doesn't make sense to me. You as well, Sean. I finally caught up to the chat. I have to build lineup still, only have 50 minutes, so I should probably go do that. Priest, I do have a little bit of love for. He's like the same exact play as Eric Jones and Austin Dillon for me, but he's starting further up, so the ownership will be lower on him. And yes, Byron is viable for GPPs. He sounds like he likes his car. He's been good here before, and the ownership will be low. So if it's a larger field GPP, yeah, I think that's fine. But I appreciate everyone being here with me. I got to get these lineups in. We have about 400. Appreciate y'all hanging out. Hopefully you have a fantastic end to your Easter Sunday. Hopefully we get the race in. It would suck if we have a Monday afternoon race. But wouldn't be surprised if this is a later start, but hopefully we get it in. Rain clears out. But we'll see what happens. Wish y'all the best. Alan says, Hocevar and Bowman or Haley and Logano on DraftKings GPP. I would prefer the second option there. You're welcome, Clint. I'm going to check out